Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. I've been listening to a lot of Polo G recently and his songs are super fire. I really like how his emotional guitar beats sound with his vocals on it, and the songs usually turn out amazing. So in this video I want to show you guys how you can recreate that emotional guitar type of sound all from scratch in FL Studio. Alright, so now we are here in FL Studio 21 as you guys can see, and the guitar I'm going to be using for this tutorial is going to be this electric vintage guitar from Contact. The preset I'm using is going to be this classic R&B preset, and then I just switched the sound preset over here to this old swing preset. Now for the BPM, I'm gonna work in 142, but anything between 140 and 170 should pretty much fit perfectly. Now when it comes to the scale we're starting off in, it's gonna be E minor. And since we are working in the E minor scale, all we're gonna start off with is just by making an E minor chord. And as you guys can see down here, I actually have the velocity pretty low. This is because I want the guitar to sound a little bit softer because it's going to give it that sad and emotional type of vibe. So now that we have this E minor chord, I'm just going to invert this by pitching it up one octave. And then with these type of beats, you always have to strum out the notes a little bit. So I'm just going to start off by strumming this B out here. And then for this G, we can actually just push it back a little bit more. Now for the first hit, I don't only want the E to be playing. So I'm actually just going to copy this G over here. Then you just want to highlight the note, hold Alt in your keyboard and move it slightly to the side so they don't hit on the exact same time. It's just going to make it sound a little bit more realistic. Now we can actually lower this by one semitone as well. So this is going to be our first chord. Now with these emotional guitar type of beats, you seriously want to focus on a couple of things. So for the first part, I feel like it sounds the best if you only have 3 chords playing. So we only want to have 3 chords on this part, but we are going to mess a little bit around with the timing. Then for the second part, we're pretty much going to copy the same exact 3 chords over, but we are going to add one more chord as well. So since we want to mess around with the timing, I'm just going to shorten these ones over here, and then we can start the second chord a little bit earlier. But we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to make another minor chord. Again, invert this middle note so we have these F's consistent, and I actually also want to have this B consistent as well. Now remember, we have to strum the notes out a little bit so they sound more realistic, so we're just going to do the same thing again over here. This time I'm just going to strum them using Alt and S on my keyboard. Now for the last chord, I'm going to have it over these 2 bars, but again we're going to drop the root note down 2 semitones, so we're going to start on this C5, then again just make a minor chord and invert this middle note. So the first part sounds pretty much perfect. Now, like I said, we just want to copy this over to the second part. But over here, I want to make this last chord a little bit shorter. And then I think we can pretty much just make another chord over here. Yeah, so this last chord really gives it that build up again. Now for the effects, I'm just starting off with this low cut EQ. I really just want to remove those low frequencies. Then I have this CLA guitars as well. I'm just using this acoustic shrunken preset. It's pretty much a go-to preset when it comes to guitars. I want a little bit of reverb as well. Make sure you don't overdo it though, so about 18% should be nice. Lastly, I have this preset in Guitar X6. So now we have the main foundation down for the guitar. Now to really add some atmosphere to the sample, I'm going to add some super emotional vocals as well. Now for the vocals, I'm just using this hooked preset in Arcade. Yo, this is fire. Start off by pitching up the vocal. Add that reverb for some more ambience. And then a little bit of a hot cut EQ as well. Lastly, we just want to widen out the vocals a little bit. Now to get that bounce going, I love to add percussion loops. Especially for these more emotional beats, perc loops work perfectly in the background. So I just have this perc loop 14 from my one-shot kit. Now since I'm already using my one-shot kit, I'm just going to add this sub bass I have. So really just fills out that low end. So the last thing I'm going to do is just add this piano from Contact, and I'm just going to play a little bit around with the piano just so we can add a few little accents here and there to really finish off the whole sample. So now that we have the whole sample done, let's go ahead and add some drums to this. Now all the drum sounds I'm using are of course coming from my Euphoria bundle kit. So if you guys like the sounds you hear, you can obviously check them out. They are actually on my website, it's BBMarko.com, or you can just click the first link down below. So we're starting off with a little bit of a longer lasting open hat, and then we have this standardized clap pattern. Let's go in with the hi-hats. That's kind of hard. Then we have the snares as well. Lower the velocity down a little bit. I'm gonna add a string for some more bounce. Make sure we add some open hats as well. Lastly, we just have this perk before we put the 808 and kick in. For the 808, I'm just going to use this radio 808 I have in my pack. It seriously just slaps. Yeah, let's just layer it for the kick. Just so it's super punchy. Yeah, that's hard. Now I'm quickly just going to add some effects and erase this beat, and that should pretty much be it. Alright, so here we have the final beat. So we're starting off with the guitar and the sub bass in the intro.
Shut up, Marko. Marko.
And it drops into the hook. The vocals come in. Another piano as well. A little bit subtle in the background, but it slows down to the verse.